Let's continue to the next topic. Next, we will go to the flow control statements. So what is a flow control statement? So flow means how it goes, how the execution happens. So when you execute a program, when you compile a program, or when you execute a program, which instruction is executed first, then which instruction is executed next, which set of instructions are executed. Okay, so this is known as flow. So how it goes? Does it go from top to bottom? Does it go from bottom to top? Or does it start from any random location in the program? So that is known as flow control. So how we can control the flow, right? So we want to execute only some part of the program. We don't want to execute some part of the program depending on some condition, right? So that is what we call flow control. We can control the actual flow of the program. So for this, we have certain statements. So control flow is one of the instructions, statements, or group of statements in a programming language, which determines the sequence of execution of other instructions, statements. So C provides two types of flow controls. One is branching and one is looping. So looping means deciding how many times to execute a block of code. Branching means deciding which action to take. Now, let's discuss about the decision making and branching. We can also call it as conditional statements in C. Now, what do you mean by conditional statements? So I told you, right? The execution of the program happens from top to bottom, but we can actually control which block of the program should execute and which block of the program should not execute, depending on the conditions. All right. So the program can skip the execution of a block of code depending on some conditions. So this can be done using the conditional statements. So these are actually done using the conditions. If the condition becomes true, then we want to execute some part of the program. If the condition is false, then that part of the program should not be executed. Okay, like that. So let's see how to start with it. So let me write the definitions. So this is the definition. Just go through the definition. Okay. Now, what are the conditional statements in C language? The conditional statements in C language are if statement, if else statement, multiple if else statements. Okay. Then switch statement. So all these can be used as conditional statements. So let's see them one by one. We'll start with simple if statement. So as the name says, the simple if statement is the most foundational type of conditional statement. We write a condition inside this if block, and if the condition turns out to be true, then a particular block of code will be executed. That's all. It does not handle the otherwise situation. Okay, only if the condition becomes true, the block of code will be executed. That's all. We don't have the otherwise condition here. Okay, that is why you can see in other statements we have if else, we have multiple if else, right? But here we have only if. So let's see how to write this. So first we will see the syntax of if statement. It goes like this. Okay, so this is the syntax of the if statement. So if the condition becomes true, then only it comes inside and it executes those statements 1, 2, and 3. If the condition becomes false, then the statements will not be executed because it doesn't come inside those brackets. Okay. That is how it goes on. For example, display the message only if there is an entry in the book. I'm just giving you a very simple and real example. Display the message only if there is an entry in the book. Now, only there is an entry, then display the message. So I will write the condition entry, then display high. So this is not yet the program. This is just the logic. Okay. Now we will write a syntax with respect to the C language. Display the message only if the or else display message first class only if marks is greater than 70. Only if the marks is greater than 70, you can display this message first class. So how? We will write a variable called marks, which will hold the value of this marks. So if it is 60, okay, I will assign the value 60 to marks. Then I will write the condition. If marks is greater than 70, what should be displayed? Print first class. That's all. You see, if this condition is true, then only the message will be printed. But since here the marks is 60, we have assigned 60 to the marks, but the condition should be, it should be greater than 70. So in this case, the printf statement will not be executed because the condition is false. Okay. If I write 80 here, okay, the marks is 80. So here the condition is true. Marks is greater than 70, right? So this statement will be executed. So this is how the if statement is written in C. Check this out. Next, we will discuss about if-else statement. So here we can handle the otherwise statement also, otherwise situation also, because we have else part here. Okay. So this if-else statement will consist of if and else blocks. For example, display the message according to the marks, like first class or not. Okay. So here we don't have much options. We have only two options. Is the student first class or not? So here above, we did not have that option also. We had only one option. We did not have the second option, but here we have the second option also. We can use that. We can have that using the if, we can have that using the else statements. So for example, marks equals 60. This is actually the value of marks. If marks is greater than 70, printf first class, correct? Close it. Else printf not her first class. Okay, you see. So here actually the marks is 60, right? So this condition is false. So this printf statement will not execute. It comes to else part. The else part is executed if the condition is false. Okay. So here what is there? It will show that. So it will show not a first class. Now, if we make the marks as 75, it will first check this. Is mark greater than 70? So here it is true. So it will print first class. It does not execute the else part. So you can see here, we are actually controlling the flow of this program execution. We have two statements, but depending on the condition, we're executing only one statement. Whichever condition is true, that block, that statement will be executed. Okay. So just think of it as a real-time situation. You will have a option to execute only one part. So you don't have the option to execute both these parts. So depending on the condition, you will execute any one of these, right? And also observe, for the else part, we don't write any condition because that's a default one. If all the conditions fail, the else is automatically executed. We don't have to have a condition for this else part. If you write any condition for this, it will fail. The program will fail. So always remember, don't write any condition for the else statement. Like this, we have multiple if else also. Where we have n number of options. Okay. In the if statement, we had only one option. We did not have second option. In the simple if else, we had exactly two options, if and else. But in multiple if else, we can have n number of options. Okay. Depending on the true condition, you can execute that statement. For example, display the actual grade of a student depending on the marks. So I will write int marks equals 90, or else I will write it later. So first let me write the condition. So if marks is in some range, is greater than 0 and marks less than equal to 35, print result is fail. Correct? Else, if marks is greater than, this is less than 35, greater than equal to 35, and so this is logical and we will discuss it later. We have to write a pair of ampersand for logical and. Marks is less than 50. Below average. Else if, let me just copy. Marks is greater than equal to 50 and less than 60. It is average. If it is greater than equal to 60 and less than 70, say good. If it is greater than equal to 70 and less than 80, it is very good. If it is greater than equal to 80 and less than equal to 100, you can say excellent. Now, we always should have a else statement. Okay, at the end of the condition statement, we always should have a else statement. Means, for example, if all these conditions are true, if all these conditions are false, okay, then something has to execute, right? So that we can make it as the else part. So what can be the else part here? Because we have covered all the cases, right? The fail, the below average, average, good, very good, and excellent. There is no other, there is nothing other than this. But yes, there is one left, that is absent. So if the student has not scored any of these marks, means we can call him absent. Okay. Or else, yeah, this is the final statement. Now you see, I will enter the marks as 75. Okay, the marks is 75. So it will first execute the first if statement. So here marks should be in the range 0 to 35. So it will fail. It will come to the second if. Here the marks is 35 to 50. Here also the range is fail. It comes to the third. Here the range is 50 to 60. Here also the range is not perfect. Then it comes here, this condition. Here it is in the range 60 to 70. No, it is not in this range also. Then it comes here 70 to 80. So what is the marks? Actually, it is 75. So 75 falls in this range. So this condition becomes true. So what we should execute if this is true? We have to execute very good. Okay, so you can see it is skipping all these statements because they are false. The condition is not true there. This condition is true, so it's executing only this statement. That is very good. Okay. Now, if I make it as 25. So here the first condition itself becomes true because 25 is in this range, 0 to 35. So which will execute? The result is fail. Only this statement will execute. Now, if I write minus 25, so minus 25 does not fall in any of these range except the else part. So here, if the value is negative, means it will take it as absent. So this is how you can write multiple if-else statements. So like this, we have switch statement also for evaluating a certain statement. Then let's talk about the loops. Loops in C programming language. So just like we have if the conditional statements which execute the block of code depending on the condition, we have loops. These are used to execute block of code in a loop. Means repeatedly. You can repeatedly execute a particular block of code till a condition is met. Okay. That is the meaning of the loop statements in C. For example, you want to execute a formula 5 times. You want to execute a formula 10 times. So you are nothing but, it's nothing but a loop. Okay. So in C, we have for loop, while loop, do while loop. Okay. So these are the 3 loop statements in C programming language. And to stop the loop, to terminate the loop, we have break statement. Continue statement is used to skip a particular iteration of the loop. So these 2 statements can be included according to the necessity. Then